Hello, magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. This is Nikki Yu, also known as Faces Trader, and you're watching the Awesome10X Philippine Market Update. It's May 5, 5-1, 5-5. So May 5, 2021, 5 Mayo. 5 Mayo. So 5 Mayo, it's May 5. Let's discuss what's happening in the Philippine market. In today's market, you see that the market is 6,300, down 59 points. You are seeing that the index movers are still on the way down. Market value turnover is still very low at 3.6 billion pesos, and you're seeing foreign net selling continuously. Lots of losers and very few gainers, but nonetheless, let's read the index movers. Ayala Land is currently 32 pesos. Your Robinson's Land is 16.5. Aboitiz Power is 23 peso 25. Globe is 1,834, Jollibee is 177, Bloomberry is 6.4, GT Capital is 522, First Gen is 31, Meralco is 272.6, BDO is 105. DMCI is 535, Robinson's Retail is 51.7, Emperador is 9.7, AJ is 10.36, other 10.38, Lucia Tan Group 13, San Miguel Corporation 114, Mega World $3, Metro Bank 45, Pure Gold 36.7, PLDT 1250, Security Bank 113, Aboitiz Equity Ventures is 35.3, MPI is 4, BPI is 81, ICT is 128, Ayala Corp is 745, URC is 128, JG Summit is 50 pesos, SM is 950, SM Prime is 33. If we're gonna discuss the index movers per se, you might be surprised on how low the property prices today are. Your Ayala Land 32, your Mega World at $3. Somehow, your SM Prime 33, it looks like they're all going down further and further. So for the week, let's just take a look at the stats. So every Wednesday, we try to give you the stats and analyze what's happened for the week. Let's take a look what happened, price performance in the markets, no? So, naglo-load yung analytics. Pero sige, let's take a look first on the top traded names. Could see that ASEN has a follow-on offering this week. 6.5 is the pricing. Current price of ASEN is 6.82. We are bullish on ASEN, and we would actually purchase that ASEN FOO follow-on offering. Dito Telecom is now 9.76. You saw that the market continuously taking profits at 9, 10, 11. So there's still that distribution going on in Dito Telecoms. Ayala Land is 32 pesos. So really, when you take a look at the top traded items, other than the index movers, the non-index movers here, you're seeing Del Monte, 14.5. You're seeing 14.5. That's a move on a higher, 8% on Del Monte. Some of the non-index movers that you can see here on the upside, DNL, 3.79%. Converge at 19 pesos. Century Pacific is 19.9. BSC, 82 cents. So, steady lang sila. Pero but most of the non-index names really has fallen down. So the market is really falling down. In terms of index movers, the mining for the mining sector, at the very least, one of the few lone winners, no, Philex Mining 7 pesos, Lepanto 18 cents, Apex 1.68, Nicolasia 5.53. So the stocks are still very much on the downtrend, but at least the bright spot in the Philippines is actually the mining sector. Nicolasia, Philex Mining, Atlas, yun, malakas copper and nickel. Yun, in fairness to those miners, okay pa naman sila, but the rest is really having a hard time. So SSI is 118, your ESWS is 959, your Maxis is 596, your DWC is 3.21, PLC is 40 cents. So after getting the dividends, bagsak na naman si PLC. So the market is already trying to think ahead that PNB might not go higher. PNB at 31, 32, having a hard time, even with the stock dividends, no, which is the property dividends. But what we can see here is that PNB, while it might not go higher, is consolidating above 25 pesos, no? So even if it falls, let's say, as long as you've got dividends, some people are really looking forward to that PNB property dividends. So they might just hold. In fact, some of the people might even continue to buy PNB here about 24 to 26 or an average of 25. Let's take a look at DWC because there was a lot of acquisitions going forward. And for the last 3 months, this has already fallen 50%, no? From about 6 pesos 60 cents all the way to 3.1. So seeing that it's nearing that short-term lows, no? How do we mean short-term low? Because you could see that there was a significant volume here, 1.5 to 2.2. In the last 5 years, Discovery World never really broke 3 pesos, no? Only this year. It had a brief 350 here, about 420 here, but usually Discovery World doesn't really go above 3 pesos. So I think that we will see whether this will already cement a support, either 3 because that's a round number, or here at about 2.5 or 2.6. We'll have to see how the markets will actually appreciate given all the foray of Discovery World in advancing more hectares acquisition of the properties. They're expanding their hotel development all throughout the entire Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. They shared it in their own edge disclosures. This week, actually, for those who are new, we actually had a deep dive last Monday. We talked about Aboitiz Power, and Aboitiz Power so far is still back at 23 pesos. So we are seeing that Aboitiz Power is just profitable, but they're really transitioning, no? For the next 10 years, they want to go 50-50 renewable. So far, it's probably going down because the market is still seeing that, well, it's still the same as at Semirara. They have a lot of coal, about 60% there right now. 60 to 70% are still coal. Only a small fraction is in the renewable sector. So given that, you could see that even Semirara is trying its best to transition going forward to be more renewable. So how far did the Semirara go down? From 44 pesos all the way to 12. So the fact that Aboitiz Power didn't suffer a huge drop, no, from about 45 all the way to 23, tells you that there are two things holding for Aboitiz Power: the book value of 17 pesos, and of course their 1 peso, roughly 1 to 1.5 peso cash dividend. So every time it goes from 17 to 20 pesos, just like last year when Aboitiz Power hit 20 pesos, there was a strong buyer. So I'd say that it's more important this year not really to determine the support from the chart, but ask yourself whether this company can really be bought if it fell another 20% lower. Example, if you're buying at 23, you have to ask yourself if at 20 pesos you will continue to average and buy it, because you can see that in the next 5 to 10 years or kahit the next 3 years, it will really rebound. So if you can see the execution front of the company, then that makes sense for you to really buy it and keep it first. Accumulate habang mababa. So really, the market right now, you are seeing a lot of the press releases. Let's read the press releases. Let's go read. So why did a lot of your companies in the property sector fall down? So your Ayala Land and your Mega World are now falling nasa 32 and Ayala Land is at 32 pesos. Should we actually accumulate this if it goes down, say, 30 pesos? So the quarterly report was reported by Ayala May 4, 2021, this week. So let's read the results and also some of their reinvestment plan material information. Okay, this is Ayala Land. We'll try to do deep dives as well, so don't worry. For now, it's just a surface look. Let's just download the results. Says here, just reading the results, Ayala Land reported that they still made income of about 2.8 billion net income. Reservations and sales are still up 15%. They're trying to weather the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic by really showing that they still have sales. We continue to work through the difficulties with an eye towards a full recovery towards the next 2 to 3 years. Residential business still registered high sales in the first quarter, with new product launches gaining favorable acceptance. Looking at our total portfolio, we expect our CapEx product launches to complete and drive our performance this year amid the ongoing challenges in the pandemic. So far, our property development revenues are 16 billion. This is a 6% contraction from last year. This was cushioned by higher bookings and construction progress, but 37% lower than the fourth quarter of 2020. Approximately 49% of the construction workforce was already deployed, supported by MDC, Makati Development Corporation's offsite manufacturing facility. Residential revenues are unchanged, ending the quarter at 13.6 billion pesos. Revenues from sales of the office units increased 85% to 1.8 billion as a result of solid bookings from the developments such as Alveo's Park Triangle at Bonifacio Global City and Ayala Land Premier One's Vertis Plaza at Vertis North. Revenues from sale of industrial lots and commercial lots decelerated by 67% to 818 million from 2.5 billion on slower take-up of Vermosa and Alvera estates. Commercial leasing contracted 41% to 5 billion as operations of malls, hotels, resorts remain restricted. Shopping center revenues dropped 58% to 2 billion year-on-year on account of limited operations, discounted rental rates to support tenants, and very low foot traffic. Sustained BPOs and headquarter operations drove the office leasing revenues to 2.5 billion, which is a 2% increase from the previous year. Hotel resorts revenues ended 60% lower to 640 million pesos as hotel occupancy remains very low while resorts are closed during the reimposition of the enhanced community quarantine. Okay, meanwhile, revenues from hotels and resorts were 19% lower. Okay, Ayala Land launched 6 projects in the first quarter, total value of 17 billion. Company has budgeted 100 billion for the rest of 2021. With the rising demand for cold chain solution, Ayala Land Logistics Holdings Corporation acquired Technofreeze, a cold storage facility within Laguna Technopark in Binyan, Laguna, rebranded under Alogis Artico. Aside from this, OLHC expanded the warehouse facility in Alogis Calamba, opening additional 6,000 square meters of space. OLHC today has 213,000 square meters of standard factory buildings and warehouses under the A-Logis brand, 5 industrial estates in its portfolio composed of Laguna Technopark, Cavite Technopark, Laguindingan Technopark, Pampanga Technopark, and Alviera Industrial Parks. Other commercial properties include Tutuban Center in Manila and South Park in Muntinlupa. Okay, so Ayala REIT is, of course, an office leasing real estate investment trust. The asset infusion is mainly composed of Ayala Land's office leasing properties located within its prime estates and with a property value of up to 52 billion pesos, a leasing property portfolio of 549,000 square meters. Okay, so what we are seeing right now is Ayala Land reporting sales are healthy, not that high, pero it's been just sleeping. So for the last 5 years, if you invested in Ayala Land, the only money that you would have seen is really 20 to 30%. It's just a range. It goes down to about 30 pesos and then it goes up to 45, goes down to 20 in a pandemic, rallies to 40. So it's obvious that Ayala Land, if you are bearish, you want to wait it out, say 26 or even 27 before you buy. So at current levels, it's just about 15% lower. Try to wait. If you can get another 10% discount, we'll wait it out. And we'll do a deep dive. But what you can see here is that it's really more of a reopening play. And we're still going to wait. Ayala Land will still have, you still have room to wait this out a longer time to basically recover. Same for your Mega World, I would assume. So all of your properties are following the same trajectory. The market is assuming the same thing, a longer time frame for it to recover. And so you see that Mega World rallied from 186 to as high as about 430. And so far, very cyclical, back to about 2.86, perhaps 3 pesos. We'll see whether we can recover. Pero for now, 2.8 or 2.5 are not really undemanding. It's not undemanding from Ayala Land and Mega World's perspective, but a lot of drops will continue to persist. We don't see good news yet, no. So right now we're just really reading on news, what's happening in the markets. As in press release, let's read this. Material information and transactions for the week. So Basic Energy extending the payment for the private placements. This has to do with the renewable energy front. Del Monte is trying to do an IPO, submitted their registration for a proposal of 50 billion. I think they're trying to raise one of the largest IPOs. So we'll see whether they can get that traction. Let's see, Petron declared cash dividends of yung mga preferred shares of Petron. What else? DNL press release. DNL reported the results. Continued recovery. Net income is about 700 million, 35% year-on-year. All segments posted significant recovery. Export sales are up 84%. Mr. Greg Jagolaus is the new CFO. All segments posted significant recovery. All right. In terms of these earnings results, what we would try to do better is to just do a deep dive, but once a week, no? Nonetheless, if you can see the results of DNL, says here that the sales are growing. Not bad, considering the fact that a lot of companies fail to actually grow their earnings because of the pandemic. At least this is growing 23%. Let's understand why they were able to grow. It's been a year already in the pandemic, and while business environment continues to be less than ideal, we try to operationally navigate with the minimal business disruption. So far, we are seeing a 35% growth in our first quarter earnings, and we believe that our long-term business prospects are still intact. Our basic industry is our products serve basic industries, and we are recession-proof. Otherwise, basically, that's what they're saying. All segments are posting significant recovery. The food ingredients grew, chemres is going up, specialty plastics, consumer products. So they are trying to make a slow but sure recovery. With more than a year into the pandemic, all the segments have increased. Food ingredients are already growing as everyone is equipped for 100% takeout or delivery basis. So as you know, DNL right now, the sales of they make about 219 million pesos here of segment net income on food ingredients. That's a huge part. Chemres 200 million, specialty plastic. So it's mostly these three, no? And then a small percentage on consumer products. Okay, let's see. First quarter income, 700 million pesos for the quarter. It's actually representative of 27% of their 2019 income, still doing well. Export sales are even better. Coconut-based products under food and oleochemicals are the main drivers. Coconut oil features continues to gain traction in the global market due to their natural antiviral properties. Coconut-based products is a good export. Good to see that. Batangas expansion is coming at an opportunistic time. We are still remaining to spend on our Batangas expansion. This facility is gonna cater for the growing export business in the food and oleochemical segments. It will add and manufacture downstream packaging, allowing the company to capture a bigger part of the production chain. We're selling raw mats to customers in bulk. The new plants will allow it to pack at the source for more packaging closer to finished consumer-facing products, simplifying their supply chain. Okay, that's a good thing. Outlook for the future on DNL's Batangas expansion. This is also successfully making inroads, supplying various raw mats and even finished products in several FMCG categories in the new normal. Export sales are now accounting for at least 50% of its total sales in the long term. Not bad. Rising commodity prices isn't a huge concern. How are they able to do this? Average coconut oil prices are up 72% for the quarter, already at 4-year highs. Meanwhile, average palm oil is up 64%. But the company is passing on all these price changes to the customers, so there's no impact on their company's margins. It takes the company 30 days to adjust their prices in an environment of rapid price changes. So they can handle it, but it cannot actually spike up in just 1 month, basically. That's what they're saying here. Financial resilience, ROIC is still 15%, ROE, very good job. We should actually understand this company better given good results from DNL. Did the market appreciate the good results of DNL? So far, the market actually is showing appreciation. DNL has gone from about 4 pesos here to as high as 760. Also a slow recovery in the stock price. So there might be some opportunities right now in the market. Any drops of DNL will probably be bought, say 6 pesos. But we will actually try to investigate this further. Let's take a look at your questions, if any. Hi, Nikki, your thoughts in PSCI market. Looks like the Philippine market is trying to have a very low consolidation base. Philippine markets might actually situate itself from about 6.3, 6.4, 6.2. I don't think that there will be a significant movement in terms of the index. Nickel Asia should do continuously well. Long-term, nickel is actually doing very well. Any drops is really being bought out. Nickel is abroad, no? You're really selling to Indonesia and China. So you can see that even nickel, the commodity itself, no? So if you go to the commodities, you can check it out. Um, so nickel commodity, you can see that nickel is now trading at $17,000. Ayan, no, $17,800. Very strong. Actually, it might even hit 19,000. But I'd say that it's very peaking here at 19, no? So for nickel, I'd say that there's still a peak at about $6, 6 pesos. Pero it's okay. There's at least it's a long-term uptrend for your Nickel Asia. Nickel Asia is moving well. You can actually check our deep dive on Nickel Asia to read more into the company. But this is one of those few companies that are really profitable in the Philippines. SBS, I don't know what's happening in SBS. Chemicals, I haven't read. I don't know if there are any results. So far, no volume on SBS. Can't determine anything. Hi, any thoughts on semiconductor stocks? IMI, technology, IMI and tech due to the global shortage. Yeah, there's a chip shortage worldwide, but I think like IMI and tech, I'm not really sure how they are playing in a role. The question is valid, but we might actually be more. I don't know. We should probably check their earnings results if they were actually benefiting. Hi, Ma'am Nikki. Should I sell my Philippine stocks and should I invest in cryptocurrencies? Actually, you might not be investing in cryptocurrencies an opportunistic time because you're a little bit late. If you notice, cryptocurrencies has gone 10x already for the quarter. So I think that you might be into you might actually want to simply invest in a lot of US markets. There are some companies in the US that are really secular trend winners. And if you really like crypto, at the end of the day, it's really about how much money you can afford to lose. If you want to put $1,000 and then you make money on it, then it's up to you. It's really about your size. But I think I'm more familiar talaga. Our channel is more familiar with US stock markets. So you can actually watch our US Awesome10X channel for a lot of updates on US. Thugs, please. Nothing happening, it seems, in Thugs. So I don't know. I think like we have to watch out for their execution. I think Thugs wanted to enter in solar before and nothing happened. We'll see. It's more of a read the news. Is it wise to transfer our funds from the banks due to the PSE market? What do you mean? Do you want to? Is your question going into like Philippine banks? Is it wise to transfer our funds into the banking industry? I guess your question is, should you invest in PNB? Is that the question? Is it wise to invest in Metrobank, BDO, BPI? So far, we are seeing that the financials as a sector continue to generate a lot of net interest income. So in terms of profitability and sustainability of the dividends, the answer is yes, if you're inclined to wait and hold them for about 3 to 5 years. Now, also, I'd argue that most of the banks are actually below book value. So your PNB is trying to actually harness their restructuring efforts by selling some of their assets inside to get their property clients to get those properties into cash, and those cash will be in the property dividend, which is of PNB. So they're separating the property dividend instead of putting it in PNB. It's going to be separate. I'd say that that would be positive if other banks would also follow suit. But so far, the banks didn't follow suit naman. Only PNB said that. Perhaps for other banks, it's just a matter of their how they make money. They make money on net interest income. So if interest rates continues to be very low, your Metrobank, BDO, BPI will still continue to have a lot of income every year. Sustainability-wise, it's going to be very profitable. The banks are very profitable in a low interest rate environment, which we are in. Any insights about DD REITs? DD REITs should be stable. So right now it's 1.97. Some people are willing to buy it because they're just trying to collect the dividends, similar perhaps to how other people approach the Petron preferreds or the San Miguel Corporation preferreds. So I'd say it's the same, no? Right now at 1.97, I think that when it got listed at 225, it was promising something like 4% yield, or about 10 cents. So maybe at 197, it is very interesting. Maybe you can get a 10% yield. So you can consider. But of course, the question is the yield stable? The yield is actually not stable depending on the commercial tenants. But I'd say that given they reported actually that 95% of the tenants are really recurring. So in terms of dividend yield, it's possible. Okay naman. I'm okay with it. You just cost average, maybe 2 pesos, 1.8 for DDMPR. What do you think is a good percentage to invest in Philippines for a peso cost averaging? Maybe I position it 25% per month for 4 months. And what sector do you advise? Actually, cost averaging is not really just monthly. Some people do it yearly, and they just actually make it quarterly. So let's say 2021 till 2023, you want to position yourself in reopening themes. So we suggested airlines. Some people open positions on Metro. Sorry, they opened positions on Cebu Pacific when it was below 39. And right now, some of your reopening themes like Macro Asia, it will take time, by the way. But let's say your cost averaging nonetheless at about 3 pesos or 4 pesos. Let's say it goes down there. Probably okay. So 3, 4, 5, anywhere that level, you want to actually cost average. So when you're cost averaging, I'd say that it's also good to get some index names in the properties. It will take time. Ayala Land will probably take about 2 years time to recover. So you want to actually buy mga 30 below, 30 to 25. If you want decent cash flows, we talked about Aboitiz Power, maybe 23 to 17. So why am I talking about a 20% perhaps drop? Because you never know it. Within the next 3 to 6 months, while the market is still really consolidating, the 6.3 could be 5.7 for all we know. You might be able to get some cheap SM Prime at 30 pesos. There's not a lot of companies to buy in the Philippine market. So it really depends on your client risk profile. No, if you like secular growth on stable names in the Philippines would be some property assets, maybe one property, one bank, and then those are gonna be not that huge. But if you want a reopening theme, others will also have some Jollibee. Probably other people would buy some Maxes or pizza. While it's very low, I mean, it's not gonna recover soon, but over time, no? Retail is really very bad right now, but should do well. It's hard to really give a specific sector answer, but there's the entire Philippines is a reopening recovery theme story. So as long as we recover, we will see the banks and the properties and the food and beverage also recover. So it's hard to really pinpoint one sector. Even your hotel industry will rally. So eventually, yeah. So if that were the case, your DWC will also go up over time. Insights on ASENFU should do well because we like solar. Secular renewable energy is a huge thing that the Philippines is trying to do. How much ba is the yield of DD REITs? No, if it's about more than 5 to 10%, there will always be a buyer. So let's see, how much is the REITs that they're offering? DDMPR dividends. So it's gonna be about the yield, no? The REITs are, I think they already are disclosing about 2 cents. Ito. So on April 14, 2021, they paid 2 cents. Let's assume that they pay about 8 centavos every year kasi this is a quarterly dividend, I think. Tama, no? 8 cents. So mga 4% nga. So if you buy it at 2 pesos, yeah, you're right. 2 pesos is 4%. So I guess some people will want to buy, not everyone likes a 4% yield, no? Because if they can get 4%, they'll just buy Aboitiz Power, also 4 to 5%. So, maraming dividend play in the Philippine market. I think there was even a time that Philinvest was paying as high as 8% because they were paying 6 centavos and you could buy it as low as 85 cents last year. So you can watch out on those types of yields. PLC, I think, gave a huge dividend. PLC gave a huge declaration of dividend. Even DMCI gave a huge dividend. So watch out lang for those types of companies. DMCI is a very huge dividend for DMC. So actually, if it goes down again, maybe people will buy. PLC gave 4 cents, April 28th. So if you bought it at 40 cents, even if Consuelo de Bobo na lang actually, Consuelo na lang na may 4 centavos. Yeah, so should be fine. Think that for the year, don't expect much in the Philippine markets. If there's a drop, then you buy. Pero it's really more of a buy to hold, not really a buy to trade it. I don't think there's a lot of fast money game in the Philippine market. Although yes, there's the Del Monte IPO, perhaps the Mondenisian IPO, but we'll see. I still have yet to see nothing much. It's a time to actually study your companies. That's why it's better for you to watch our deep dives. So have a better appreciation with Nickel Asian, Limonite, Saprolite, all of the ore that they are actually providing. Sorry, all the ore they're providing for the entire not for the Philippines, but actually for the global. Mostly for China. So for the stainless steel of China. Thank you very much. That's it. Hope that you learned something. Bye-bye.